Welcome back to Coybilt. We've got Josiah in a 1966 Mustang. Now this is a good looking car. It's a 66 and this was been through your shop probably what, a year ago?
Actually 2.
Really?
Yeah.
So why don't you, I mean, it was great that I think the owner's name is Tim from what I understand.
Tim and Nancy, yeah.
And they brought the car back today so we can film it and do a little walk around and just tell the story of what this car is, because the story is always great of why people have them. And you know, some people are baffled that aren't car people of why would someone put money and time into an old classic car, but the stories behind these cars are compelling enough for the reason to do so. And this one has a good story behind it.
It does.
So let's start off with who owns it, how did they acquire it, and tell us how it ended up at your shop, for what reasons originally, and then we can start going through what you've actually done to the car.
I'll give the backstory first. So Nancy got this car in about 1971. It was owned by a family member prior to that, a cousin. They was bought new in 1966. I believe this is a San Jose built car, or I'm from Milpitas. It was the Milpitas Ford plant, aka Great Mall. That being said, she got the car in 1971. She was 16 at the time. She drove the car all through high school, I think up into the 80s. And she met Tim in high school with this car, and obviously there's probably more to that story about that. I know he had some fun, driving this thing around and, doing what all young guys do, have a good time with it and beat on it. But that's the car's been in the family basically since day one.
Wow. So there's got to be some dates, date nights and prom type stories that, I mean, you just can. I mean, when you I had a muscle car in high school, so, and others have done the same, and you really, it's just something to be in that same car that you had back in those early days, and it's super cool to hear that. How over the years did they park the car after a certain amount of time? What happened?
So from what I understand, I'm going to try to do the best I can here. Like I said, they met. Tim said that she had the car up until the 80s, driving it daily. All the kids were brought home, apparently, I believe, in this car.
Oh,
Don't
boy.
quote me on that, but that's what I thought I heard. So
Well, at least, if anything, they were youngsters in the car.
Yeah. They were youngsters in the car. They grew up with it. I think even in the 90s it was running and driving, maybe even later, but it wasn't really gone through until probably about, 10 years ago. They tore it apart. It was painted by some local painter in Ripon, California, that is. And then it just sat in basically a warehouse up until they gave us a call and said, hey, can you put this thing back together for us? And we did. But this thing's been in the family from day one, and it's basically a family member at this point.
So they brought it to you to basically put it back together.
Yeah, so the paint and body was not us, but we put this thing back together. These are, from what I can see, all original panels. Nothing was replaced in the car. So it's got all original, Ford panels. So we put it all back together.
It was in good condition from what you had heard originally before, but they just wanted to restore it.
It was tired.
Yeah.
But so they did a mechanical and cosmetic refresh. So it was the motor's in it's a 302 out of a 90 Fox body, or the long block, or the short block I should say is. The heads are actually still 66 289 heads.
Did they have that engine when they brought it to you, or is that
they had this engine, and then usually we try to do everything in-house or have our vendors, but we decided to use their engine. So
let's pop the hood and check that out. So it sounds like to me they had a plan originally, it just didn't get executed with whoever they had working on the car.
No, it was taken apart and then sort of abandoned.
Which sometimes, unfortunately, that happens.
So this is a, like I said, small block Ford 302. It's got a vintage air accessory drive on the front of it, Ron Davis radiator, and some of those cool Spall fans.
Yeah, some more Spalls again, huh?
And the Ron Davis stuff isn't bad either. We like their stuff a lot.
Is that your go-to?
Yes, very much so.
I hear you talking about it a lot.
Ron is a very helpful guy, and I've never understood the whole philosophy of a lot of radiator companies. They say horsepower ratings. I went, no, you need BTU and CFM and all that stuff, between the fans and then the BTUs and the radiator to understand what's really going on.
Yeah. So the car came to you basically a painted roller?
Yes. Pretty much. I mean, it still had to have other pieces put on to suspension to really finish it off, but yeah. There's a painted roller, the front clip was off, hood, all that stuff, so we had to transport all this stuff from a barn, essentially. It was a warehouse, and it went to a barn, and then we picked it up and slowly brought it back piece by piece.
I see it has a Holly fuel injection system.
It does.
So tell me about that. Was that originally what was supposed to go in the car, or was that something that you talked them into?
That was something we talked them into. They had a carburetor at the time, but for what they wanted and the style of driving they were going to do, I recommended fuel injections. That way we can just bump the key and go.
Yeah, which Holly system is it?
So this is a setup that is using a Holly HP EFI ECU. That's a Holly 4-barrel throttle body. It's one of their manifolds. It's port injection. Obviously, it's sequential. And then the distributor is a dual sync distributor. And that's also that's either an MSD or Holly unit. They're both owned by the same company. That's actually a Holly unit.
Okay. And is this a aftermarket front drive system?
Yes, it is. And that's from the guys at Vintage Air. It's a tight little package. It looks really nice.
It is definitely tight. That looks good. And then I see a Willwood master cylinder.
Willwood master cylinder. Willwood brakes up front. Still got drums out back, but for what they're doing, they're just cruising around. We felt that was adequate.
Yeah. So, I mean, do we have any horsepower ratings on this engine, or is it just a
Probably,
good, healthy, just street?
It's got a mild cam in it. Probably
Sound good.
300.
Yeah.
I'd say 325 horse or something like that.
Yeah. And I mean, that's drastically better than what they probably had in it prior.
A K code car was 271 horse, and those were solid lifter. I'm not sure how this would compare, but it's a good little street car. It's got an AOD automatic behind it. It was never supposed to be anything that was a door slammer. It was just supposed to be something that could cruise around.
So is this the same transmission that was in it prior, or is it something
This
different?
is an aftermarket piece.
Okay.
It's a later model Ford transmission. It's from let's say a 89, 88 Mustang, like Fox body era. Don't quote me on that, but it's in that general ballpark. But it's an automatic overdrive, AOD, hence the name.
So I'm not really familiar with Mustangs, this being a 66. Well, actually, I now see the emblem because I just noticed it, but this had a 283 or 289. It would be a 289. Yeah. Nice. And what did you guys do for the exhaust?
So the exhaust is a hand-built system here at Coybilt. It's all stainless, 2.5 inch, all the way out the back. It's got an interesting little joggle that you have to do out back for the leaf spring hangers, but also there's another thing on Mustangs. I know I'm going on a tangent here. There's a special hanger set up on the dual exhaust cars, and even brake line set up on the rear axle. That's a whole nother story though. But that is a 2.5 inch stainless 304 TIG welded exhaust.
So talk to me. I know you guys do a lot of stainless exhaust systems, custom. What is your reasoning for that over I mean, obviously I know you can buy something out of the box that's aluminized and it only fits so well because it's a generic, fitment, but why do you guys, what's your take on stainless? What's the big positive?
We just like it for longevity. We like the way it looks when it's welded. There's that factor. We can get the bends here locally. It's food grade stainless that you get from various vendors over here that specialize in that.
And all that has to be TIG welded to grip.
All TIG welded and backgassed.
And you guys have the special tools to process, like spinning the tube around.
Yeah, it's a what do you want to call it? TIG turret, as they call them, or basically it's just a turntable.
Right. And then you said a backgass. For the people that aren't familiar with it, it's not like a MIG where you just MIG weld it and you can MIG weld it underneath the car. You have to plug each side.
You have to purge the system of all the air, otherwise you get a sugar weld on the backside.
So it's a good process to do. It's not simple, and that's why stainless exhaust systems usually climb up there on pricing.
They do, but I mean, to me, it's going to be a forever system. We've got flex couplers in there also to keep it from cracking, because stainless, as we all know, work hardens. So.
And then, are you using like a band, like a V-band?
V-band clamps throughout. That's another thing that we are adamant about. I always take 3-bolt flange collectors and cut them off, and always do V-bands on everything.
And this one's got headers.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. And you did all the brake lines.
Yeah, brake lines, fuel lines, all that.
And you really are particular about like how sanitary these engine compartments get.
They have to be. I mean, you got to think about it this way. That is your jewelry box. When you open a jewelry box, do you want a bunch of clutter around the sides? No. I mean, we didn't go super crazy with this, but you got to keep it as the engine is the focal point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not customized and smoothed out, you know, like some people do, but it's very sanitary.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't necessarily want that. We just wanted to clean it up and make it look presentable, so when you pop the hood, you're not embarrassed.
Have they been taking this thing to shows?
Yes, they have.
And I'm guessing a lot of like cars and coffee type scenarios.
Cars and coffee, local little gigs. There's little like get-togethers and riffing and things of that nature. Church shows, things like that.
How many miles are on the car since they picked it up?
That's a good question. I don't know. I have not looked.
Yeah.
I know they drive it a lot.
Let's jump in the inside here and let's go through the inside while we possibly get a mileage on it.
$1,182.
Really?
Yeah, I thought they drove it more, but they just drive it around town. So I mean, driving around a small little country town, you're not going to probably get as many miles if you would if you actually took it out on the freeway.
So since we're right here and we just saw that, those gauges aren't stock.
Nope, these are Dakota Digital. So we use them on most everything. It's still a factory appearing gauge, but it's a much more modern unit that allows certain features that the originals just don't have. They're backlit. That's one of them right off the bat. And then if you've got older eyes, or if you're beginning to get older eyes, such as myself, it really helps at night.
Yeah, and then they have the heads-up display with the speedometer digitally.
Yeah, and you can have a check engine light. There's a lot of things you can do with these gauges.
I believe they also have a reserve light for the gas tank, right?
They do. And they also have a warning light for your cooling system, so you can set it wherever you want.
Yeah.
So that light's off to, at least if you're cruising down the freeway, you're not always paying attention to your gauges, at least it'll flash a light in your face and tell you, hey, don't blow your stuff up.
Is this the original steering wheel?
This is an aftermarket wheel, but it's basically sort of like something they would have had in the 60s.
And what was the condition of the interior pieces when they brought you all the parts?
Original and in bad shape. So this
pretty
has all
much
been reupholstered with a kit from TMI. It's basically factory appearing.
Oh yeah. Very clean. Just very well thought out of, like, not going with, I mean, going with aftermarket, but not like, there's a lot of aftermarket parts that are like, you look at it and you can tell it's like,
yeah, you can tell
it
some
changes
things
the
have been
appearance.
modified, but
Yeah.
you have an older gentleman walk up or woman walk up, they're not going to be offended that this thing's been altered way away from stock. It still has that very much Mustang appearance.
What stereo is that?
That's a classic auto sound unit.
And it's got vintage air?
It does, and it works well.
Yeah, you have to have that.
Especially out here in the Central Valley, it's hot.
Do you know what color this interior is?
It's a aqua. It's a dark aqua. There was two greens, and this was the darker of the two.
Yeah,
So originally, I don't think these were upholstered. We did that just to clean it up. These are normally painted.
nice. Some nice touches. It looks really, I mean, I'm not like I said, I'm not a Ford guy, so when I look at this stuff, everything looks period correct and authentic, but obviously new. So it hasn't really restyled it or changed it to that modern look.
No, I mean there's a couple pieces here and there, but it's we're trying to keep this thing as it was.
Yeah. And still hand crank windows?
Yep.
Original glass?
Glass has been replaced. That's all aftermarket glass.
Doors shut really nice. And then what about these wheels here? What was who picked these?
That was I presented options. It was a mix between the both of us. The owner sort of liked the look. That's basically like a mini light copy that ET makes. They're out of San Leandro. So it's, I believe, a 17 by 8 out back, and then it's a 17 by 7 up front.
What's your suspension setup on this one?
So it's got Global West leaf springs out back, adjustable shocks out back. That was stuff that they already had. And then the front is also Global West, and that's got the their whole entire suspension package, their control arms and everything, their springs, or their coilovers in this case. It's like it almost looks like a strut.
Yeah.
So, good driving little car.
No, this is a good looking car.
Another street car deal. It's not supposed to be a race car or anything super crazy. It's just supposed to be a fun street car.
I can definitely see this thing pulling up to a gas station and people just gawking over it and totally just throwing people back to, you know, the 1960s, remembering, you know, when they had a car like this or went to the prom or special occasions or their uncle or someone had one like this. I mean, this is really this isn't the original color, or?
This is original color.
Phenomenal. It's a good looking color.
That was another reason the interior and engine bay, we had to be careful with this, is we don't want to offend the original owners. Is Tim and Nancy are, you know, they remember the car how it was. They know what it looked like when it was new. And also then their kids are driving it too as well. Fred's driving it, and he's probably about, you know, mid 40s, and you know, want to appeal to everybody, I guess we'll say.
This is
timeless.
100%.
That's what you got to do with any build, is try to make sure it stays timeless. You don't want something that's dated in like 10 years. So
yeah, and especially because, I mean, you're not going for like show awards and stuff like that. You know, this right here, you can never step back and say there's something wrong about this. Like you know, oh, this is how they used to do it in the 80s or 90s or 2000s. Like, you're not going to get anyone that said this right here is just a very clean
yeah.
touch.
If you want to change anything, you change the wheels. That's it.
I think still
That's about it. I mean, it's like even that's a 1970s style wheel,
right.
So it doesn't look out of place. I mean, they ran these things on Cudas and things like that back in Trans Am racing, so it was sort of had that fit.
Do you have pictures of when it came to you, like when you started the project and like just the earlier stages of it?
I might have some somewhere, yes.
That we can maybe put into the video?
Yeah, we can do that.
Maybe we can even, which would be so awesome if maybe they could provide something of like what it looked like back in the day.
That I would like to find, yeah.
That would be killer.
Especially,
to see.
You know, Nancy and Tim back in the, let's say, 1970s, because they just celebrated their 50th anniversary recently.
Really? You know, I say this over and over again, these cars mean so much because of the back history that you can never take away from someone. You know, the high school days, the date nights, you know, the trips that you take in them, the kids, you know, all the little things that you just can't take away. I remember going to school in my mom's car. She had a Trans Am, and, you know, that's still in the family, which is cool. But, you know, the point being is that those are memories that it's just great.
What year Trans Am?
Oh, I want to say maybe 74.
There
Yeah,
you go.
but this is awesome. I dig it. Let's maybe see if we can get some of those old images just put in and just kind of show what it looked like. I mean, so you're saying this paint is how old?
Oh, probably 10 years old. I mean, it did basically, they did a repaint on it with a local painter, and then the project got stalled after that. But yeah, it was done back then, and it's just a street car deal. But
Yeah,
you know,
something that you can be proud to
yeah,
drive.
you can drive it, and it's not
and not stress out about it.
yeah, it's not a $100,000 paint job.
Yeah,
type
be
deal.
cautious, but not stress out.
Exactly.
This is great.
It's a good package.
Well, I'm super happy for the customers that own this and have, you know, seen it through, because a lot of these cars get just put to the side and never get touched because they can't
Unfortunately.
they lose pieces and everything else in between. I mean, do you remember just how they were when they finally got the car back for the first time? And
We were all relieved because we called this Mustang the one that it's definitely the pony that fought. But you know, it fought us quite a bit, but we got it all dialed in for them. They were super excited, and remember Nancy's face, and this was her car, her very first car. So it's just good to see it come back to its former glory.
yeah,
So it was definitely a unique experience, and I'm glad I get to be a part of that.
yeah, you're not just a car builder, you're bringing back historical.
No, a lot of our clients go from clients to friends by the
Right.
time we're done with these cars.
Yeah, because you're doing something really special. You're just not completing another car. you're doing something special.
Yeah, it's not an oil change. You're becoming very much part of their family and learning the history of their vehicle and what was going on with it.
Well, hats off to you and your team. This car is, in my eyes, this is a home run. It's not about trophies and not be about, you know, anything being over the top. This just hits perfect for the right reason. So hats off to you guys. Congratulations on another fantastic build. Let's wrap this one up and let everyone know if they need to, you know, if they've got something like this, a historical project that they need help with. You're a problem solver. You love originality. You love modifications. So you can pretty much take care of every directions that someone wanted to go with something like this. How can they get a hold of you?
You can call us at the shop, which is 209-572-1965, or you can DM us on Instagram or Facebook, direct message, or email us at Josiah, Josiah, at Coybilt.com.
And you're located in Modesto, California.
Yes, we are.
But you accept cars from all over the place. If someone's from out of state, they want to ship you a car. You're plenty capable of keeping people up to speed with the process and getting everything dialed in with progress pictures and you know, updates and whatnot. So, you know, if someone's not even from this area or able to drive, just ship the car.
Yeah, we've had clients from as far as Pennsylvania. We've had people out of Southern California. We also had people in the Bay Area that can't get over here all the time. It's just shoot photos, communicate. That's all I can say.
Yeah, I mean, Bay Area is not that far away, but the reality is,
it's a
you know,
2-hour drive.
Traffic and work and just life just gets in the way, and it's just not easy. So yeah. Okay, well, I appreciate your time walking around this. I hope that the viewers love this one. Again, this is something that was finished a couple years ago, and it's been back to the client, but the client brought it back. So then we can highlight it and show everyone at home, you know, what you guys are capable of. So appreciate you guys' support. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you, Josiah.
Thank you.